Hello. What I'll be showing you right now is how to use Microsoft Excel in analyzing data using dependent samples t-test. So the first thing that you must do is, of course, to have a copy of our data. So your data files can be saved either using any spreadsheet software. However, for us, we're going to be using the Microsoft one. We're going to be using Microsoft Excel data spreadsheet. So once you open the spreadsheet or the data, you will see here three columns: the participants column or the participants ID, the pre-tests, and the post-test values. So the first thing that you must do is to identify your values, check how many data you have. So as per our data, we have 24 participants for both pre-test and post-test. So first, click on the data tab, and then after clicking on the data tab, there's data analysis. Click on data analysis. After clicking on data analysis, a dialog box will open. The dialog box will ask you to choose which data analysis test will you be administering. So I have here t-test paired two samples for means. Again, there are three t-tests here, two for independent samples and one for paired samples or the dependent samples. Click on the paired samples. Okay. Now you will be prompted with another dialog box which has variable 1 range, variable 2 range. Just click on the variable 1 range and press the arrow up button. It is always that the variable 1 is the pretest values. So we're gonna be clicking on the pretest values. Make sure to drag from. You can drag using the label or without the label, depends upon you. But for me, I prefer the one with the labels. And then okay. Then variable 2 are post-test values. So don't forget to drag. The arrow button or the arrow cursor gives you the idea that you can do dragging of the values from the cell. Now, hypothesize mean difference. We are assuming that, remember that our null hypothesis is that there's no significant difference. Hence, our null hypothesis would indicate a zero mean difference hypothesized. Since we included labels in our values at the top, we must check on the labels. The alpha, our type 1 error probability or the significance level value is at 0.05. Do you have other options, 0.01 and 0.10? But since this is a social science research, we're going to be using 0.05. And is the default output option is new worksheet. However, you can just choose an output range. Here, you will be choosing a range any cell here, but new worksheet would do. Just press result. It will provide you another sheet in the spreadsheet and it will show you the result. There, that's our result. It's usually cramped and some numbers may not be visible. So what you need to do is just adjust the column size. Uh, Sorry, it didn't work the way I wanted to work. There. So here, I am adjusting the column size. There. So we now have our results. And this is it. That's mostly about how you're going to be using data analysis. Now, if you want to do more, since this is dependent samples t-test, and our goal here is to compare the differences, you will see later on that the values here are somehow sometimes not sufficient enough to provide a meaningful discussion of the results. So what I'm going to be doing is to compute for the average difference. So difference. So how different is the previous data from the post data? So what I just need to do is to subtract the post test by the pre-test values. And this one, the box at the or lower right bottom of the cell allows you to drag the same function. So what it does is when you drag it down, it will do the same thing as what you did for the first cell. Subtract the post-test by the pre-test. Now we have the differences. What we're going to do is get the average of these cells. That's an average. That means that's the average difference. Another way in getting descriptives of this part of the difference is still using data analysis. So data analysis, um, descriptive statistics. Again, descriptive statistics is our option. Let me repeat that. Data analysis, descriptive statistics, okay. And then input range, and then labels in first row, descriptives, check on everything that you understand. Okay. Now these are the descriptives. As you can see, let's copy paste this one just so we can see highlight how similar they are. You see that the means are the same. We have here what we call the standard error. Please do recall that standard error is the standard deviation of the sampling distribution. Median, there's no mode. The standard deviation. Now this standard deviation value probably is the standard deviation of the sample. Let's try. stdev. See, these are the same now because technically what we have here is a sample of the population. Hence, it shows you the standard deviation. The sample variance, kurtosis, skewness. Oh, kurtosis is how high the graph is, the peak of the graph, leptokurtic, mesokurtic, or platykurtic, skewness, left skewed, right skewed, skewness range, maximum, minimum, lowest value, highest value, so on. You can also apply the difference to the other parts of your data just in case you want to provide a more detailed discussion of your data. However, for now, this will do.